Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're looking into the world of Sam Altman, the man behind OpenAI. It's could be more than just a business bio.
Yeah.
We're really trying to get into what makes this guy tick. We're going to use a cold fusion video called The Man Behind ChatGPT to get into his motivations, anxieties, and really how those shape his vision for the future, especially when we're talking about AI.
A lot of anxiety out there around AI, and it seems like Altman, he shares that anxiety, but he's leaning into it, trying to steer the technology that worries him.
He was meant for this, it feels like. I mean, 8 years old, glued to his computer. His first computer was a Macintosh SE.
Wow.
Then came the AOL chat rooms.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Wild West back then, early online communities. But for Altman, it was like training, connecting people with technology.
And then he drops out of Stanford at 20.
Yeah.
To start Looped. Now think about it. This is before everyone had smartphones. This was a location sharing app way ahead of its time.
Yeah. Looped might not be a name we all know, but get this.
Yeah.
It was valued at $175 million. Well, it never really became a mainstream hit. That's crazy. What does that tell us about Altman? That he can sell a vision even if it doesn't fully come together.
It's crucial, that looped experience, resilience. You have to be able to bounce back from setbacks, especially in the startup world. I mean, AI, talk about unpredictable.
Exactly. And you can't talk about Altman without talking about Y Combinator. That's the accelerator that funded Looped. And that's where his influence in Silicon Valley really begins. He went from founder to part-time partner and eventually all the way to president of Y Combinator.
Paul Graham, he's a Y Combinator co-founder. He said Altman had a knack for accumulating power. In the startup world, that's connections, influence, being in the middle of all the innovation.
But there's a side to Altman we don't see in the boardroom. The video kind of paints this picture of him at a party. He's casually talking about racing cars, flying planes, prepping for survival scenarios.
Interesting. Tech visionary, but also thinking about the worst-case scenario.
Yeah.
He even predicted a pandemic starting from a lab leak back in 2016, years before COVID.
Yeah. That forward thinking, that awareness of risk, makes you wonder if that's what's fueling his anxieties about AI. Like maybe he sees AI as the ultimate survival scenario to prep for.
Which brings us to OpenAI. That's where those fears, shared by Elon Musk too, that's where those become the driver for a huge project.
It was 2015 when they founded OpenAI as a nonprofit. Brought in big names, Reid Hoffman, Jessica Livingston. Their mission was to develop safe and beneficial artificial general intelligence, AGI. Not just AI as we know it, but AI that can learn and solve problems just like humans can.
This was a direct response to that worry that AI could get too powerful, too fast, and potentially fall into the wrong hands. It was a preemptive move. Try to steer AI development in a direction that benefits all of us.
To tackle this, they needed the best of the best. So they brought in Ilya Sutskever, leading figure in machine learning, to be OpenAI's chief scientist. This wasn't just about ideals. It was about assembling a team with the chops to make it a reality.
But AGI takes enormous computing power. To train these AI models, it's like downloading the whole internet nonstop at warp speed, and that costs a lot of money.
2019, OpenAI makes a big shift.
Yeah.
They go from nonprofit to for-profit. But this wasn't just about chasing cash. They capped investor profits. The excess gets funneled back into that original nonprofit.
And check this out. Altman didn't take any equity in the for-profit arm. Actions speak louder than words, right? He was committed to their original vision. AI for good.
That's when Microsoft steps in. $1 billion in 2019, and then get this, $10 billion in 2023. This gave OpenAI the resources to really speed things up.
Microsoft's cloud computing was essential. It provided the massive processing power for training these AI models. And this is when we see ChatGPT and DALL-E take shape. Altman's vision, Microsoft's muscle, AI hits the mainstream. That partnership with Microsoft, it was huge for progress, but did it raise some questions too? Could a for-profit company, even with those safeguards, really stay true to AI that's good for everyone?
And that's where Altman's idea of democratizing AI comes in. Wider access, he says, actually makes it less risky, less centralized control. You put those tools in the public's hands, you get a more diverse ecosystem of users and applications.
Interesting. Releasing ChatGPT was like that, opening the doors for a giant experiment. Millions of people suddenly got to see what AI could really do.
It took the world by storm. AI was suddenly everywhere. But the video makes a point. Releasing something powerful when it's still in development, that comes with risk.
It's like handing someone a toolbox full of these crazy, powerful gadgets but no instructions. Yeah, you could build something amazing, but you could also misuse it. Or just have stuff go wrong by accident.
The video uses this analogy. Is AI going to be like the printing press,
Mm.
spreading knowledge, empowering people, or will it be more like the atom bomb? Huge leap forward, but with the potential for disaster.
That's a big question we all need to think about. As AI gets more embedded in our lives, there's no easy answer. It's not just good or bad.
Exactly. It's about understanding the shades of gray, the good and the bad that could come with it. And that's where Altman focusing on aligning AI development with human values is so important.
He's not talking about just building smart machines. He wants machines that get our ethics, our social norms, our hopes, even our fears, machines that work with us, not against us.
But that's a huge challenge. You need input from philosophers, ethicists, social scientists, artists, everyone, really. You need those different perspectives to make sure AI reflects the best of us, not just how smart we are.
And that's why I think Altman's story is so interesting. He's not just this brilliant engineer or a super successful entrepreneur. He really gets the ethical weight of what he's building, and he's trying to get ahead of those concerns.
He admits the future of AI is uncertain.
Yeah.
He's cautiously optimistic, sees the good, but also sees the possibility of things going really wrong. He wants to address the immediate threats like misinformation, the economic disruption, but he's also thinking long-term. What will AI mean for society way down the line?
That cold fusion video ends with this quote from Isaac Asimov. The saddest aspect of life right now is that science gathers knowledge faster than society gathers wisdom. That really makes you think. We need to approach all this with responsibility and humility.
We can't just sit back and watch this AI revolution happen. We have to be informed, we have to be engaged, and we have to ask those tough questions. What kind of future do we want to create with AI? What are our values? And how do we make sure those values are built into the tech we're building?
Altman's journey, from those early days in Silicon Valley to leading OpenAI, it shows us that the future of AI isn't fixed. It's being written right now, and we all have a part in that story.
What struck you the most about Altman's story? For me, it's his willingness to face his fears about AI head on, and then use those fears to try and build a future where AI is a force for good.
Yeah, it's inspiring, right? He's not just watching AI happen, he's in the arena trying to shape it. That's a good lesson for all of us. We can't just wait for the future. We need to get in there and create it.
Couldn't agree more. His story reminds us that we all have a role in this AI revolution. Whether you're a tech expert, an artist, a student, whoever, your voice matters.
Stay informed, stay engaged, and keep those tough questions coming. The future of AI is being written right now. It's up to all of us to make sure it's a future we're proud of.
That wraps up our deep dive into the world of Sam Altman. Hope this has given you a better understanding of the guy behind OpenAI, but also the challenges and the possibilities that come as we head into this age of AI.
Remember, the future's not set in stone. It's a blank canvas, and we all have a brush. Let's paint a future where tech serves humanity, not the other way around.
It really is. You hear about these big tech figures, and it's easy to think they're just focused on the next billion-dollar idea.
Yeah.
But with Altman, it feels different. He's wrestling with the big questions, the ethical implications. That's what sets him apart.
Yeah, exactly. He's not afraid to say, hey, this stuff makes me nervous too. But instead of burying his head in the sand, he's trying to guide AI development in a responsible direction. That takes courage.
Big time. And it reminds us that we all have a responsibility here. We can't just be passive consumers of technology. We need to be informed, engaged citizens, asking the hard questions. What kind of world do we want to live in? And how do we use AI to get there?
AI is going to be a defining force in this century, there's no doubt about it. But it's not some inevitable force of nature. We get to make choices. And those choices, both big and small, are going to determine what the future looks like.
That's what I hope people take away from this deep dive. It's not just about understanding Sam Altman. It's about understanding our own role in shaping the future of AI.
Absolutely. It's a future that's being written right now. And
Yeah.
we all have a hand in writing it. So let's make it a good one.
That's a great place to end it. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.